Home sales in Penticton have exploded, but is the rest of the market telling the same story? Yes, sales are climbing, but listings are still near record highs and homes are sitting longer than ever. The real story isn't in the number of deals happening, it's in what's happening to prices. On the surface, it looks like things are heating up again, but dig a little deeper and the numbers are telling a completely different story. So let's take a look at what's really going on in the Penticton real estate market right now. So the numbers right here are for the South Okanagan, the Penticton area, spans from Osoyoos all the way to Summerland and the smaller communities in between. This number of sales that we had in the South Okanagan, 145 in the month of September. All these stats will be for the end of the month of September. And that's a 27% increase over last year. So sales have picked up, especially compared to last year. Last year was a slow year. This year's been slow as well, but a lot busier than last year. Active listings were sitting at 1,445. It's about 5% down from last year. Not too bad, but we still are, again, we're near record highs there for active listings. Months of inventory, we're sitting at 10 months of inventory, which puts us into a buyer's market. How you calculate months of inventory, simply take active listings, divide it by the number of sales that we had in the month. That tells you, in theory, how much inventory we have left until we would, in theory, run out. So at the end of September, if nothing got listed, again, in theory, it would take us about 10 months to run out of that inventory. That doesn't happen, but it tells us or gives us a good idea where prices are going and if we are in a buyer, sellers, or balanced market. And the number of new listings for the month of September sitting at 323. Now, these may not all be brand new listings. What happens is if a house sits on the market for however the seller deems to be too long, and then the seller and their agent, they'll do a price reduction, but they'll actually take that listing off the market, do the price reduction, and then put it back on the market. And technically those do count as new listings. So keep that in mind there. They're not all brand new listings. Sales volume for the South Okanagan market is sitting at just under $100 million. That's all the sales that we had, the dollar volume of all the sales that we had in the month of September. And that obviously, because sales were up, dollar volume's up almost 45%. And days to sell right now for the overall market sitting at 86. Very skewed because of condos and you'll see in a minute here, single family home category. They're sitting longer than essentially ever right now. Now, if you have any questions about the Penticton real estate market, looking to buy or sell in the area, I'd love to help you out. Simply shoot me a text message or call the number on the screen. Now, let's get into the pricing of homes, townhomes, and condos here in the central Okanagan. So that's not it. There we go. So right here is the home price index, the benchmark prices for these housing categories. Again, single family homes, condos, and townhomes. At the top here, we have single family homes. Now, the prices for single family homes right now in the area, this is the whole 30,000 foot view of the central Okanagan and the single family home category, just over $750,000 for your, what would be deemed, I guess, your typical single family home here in the area. And that is down over $75,000 since the peak of the market, which was in the South Okanagan. It was May of 2022. And then if we draw a straight line back, we're sitting about between January and February of 2022 pricing right now. So they have come down a little bit, not quite as dramatic as other areas like the central Okanagan, Kelowna area. Townhomes were sitting at $513,000 right now. Again, this is that 30,000 foot view. It's really going to depend on the area you're in, the type of townhome, that sort of thing. And prices here are about, just over $80,000 down from the peak. Close to 600 at the peak. Again, now we're sitting at 513,000. And if we draw a straight line back there, we're sitting roughly between February and March of 2022 pricing there. And for condos, sitting at just over $420,000 there. Been coming down the last 2, 3, 4 months. 4 months in a row, prices have been coming down slightly. And since the peak of the market, we're down about $60,000 since the peak for condos. And in terms of pricing, where we're sitting now, 420, 425 around January 2022 pricing. So all of the categories there are around January, February of 2022. Now, hopefully that gives you a good idea of where prices have come and how far they've come down since the peak, where they stand now if you are in the market. Hopefully that helps you there. Now, if we carry on, we're going to go through each individual category now and dig a little bit deeper into the numbers there. So the single family home number of sales was a 92.5% increase over 2024, or up by 40 sales over last year. So a big jump there in sales. New listings, 155, again, keep in mind what I said before about new listings. And inventory, we're sitting at 592 single family homes on the market right now, down almost 15% since this time last year. Benchmark price, again, we're just under 760,000, essentially the same as last year in terms of price. If sales continue to go as they are, I don't think they will, because we're leading into the winter months, and that does slow down a bit. We could see prices come down a little bit further there if sales remain high. And the days to sell a single family home right now on average is almost 3 months. So keep that in mind if you are a seller right now. Having your home priced competitively whether it's in your neighborhood or similar homes to yours, similar in size, quality, that sort of thing. And if you're bringing it to market, make sure it's clean and presented very well compared to everything on the market. And your house should, in theory, sell quicker than the average there. And if you are selling or buying, the list to sale ratio right now is around 96-97%, meaning buyers and sellers are negotiating between 3 and 4% off of that last list price. And months of inventory for the single family home category is just under 8 months of inventory, which again puts us into a buyer's market, similar to the market overall, just doing a little bit better there in the single family home category. And the absorption rate right now, how quickly homes are selling at a rate of 13%. So that's taking the number of sales, dividing by the total number of inventory, and essentially 1.3 out of every 10 homes are selling in a given month right now, just to put that into perspective for you too if you are a seller. And next we have the townhome market. Similar with sales exploding there, almost 55% increase in sales, that total number of 17 sales. So not huge, but it's still more than last year. It's trending upwards from last year. Number of new listings, 40, just under 18% there. Inventory, again, just like the single family home category, would come down over last year. 134 townhomes listed in the South Okanagan. Benchmark price, again, 513,000. Again, similar to last year. Prices haven't come down. Again, if inventory remains high, sales keep climbing a little bit there, we should see prices come down. That's kind of how it works, but we'll see what happens in the months to come. Days to sell, we're sitting at 60, so fares a little bit better than the single family home category, keeping in mind there was only 17, so it really skews, depending on the townhomes that sold, the days to sell really skews the numbers there. But in the month of September, on average, it took about 2 months to sell. List to sale price ratio sitting at 98%, so it fares a little bit better than the market overall. Buyers and sellers negotiating about 2% off that list price. Months of inventory, we're sitting at 7, so very, very close to that balanced market, sneaking just into a buyer's market there. And absorption rate, we're sitting at 14%. And now on to the condo market here. Number of sales we had in condos, again, sales increased in every single category. 36% increase in sales for the month of September, sitting at 30. Last year was very, very slow. I don't have the graphs here, but they're last year and the year before, leading into the end of the year, was quite slow. So it's not hard to beat out last year, because this year is also quite slow. But yeah, sales for condos, we had 30. New listings sitting at 62. That's a 17% increase over last year. And inventory, just following the rest of the market, down a little bit, or properties that may have expired, people weren't putting them back on the market right away. And that is a trend that happens that as we lead into the into the Christmas season, winter season, and New Year. People will, they'll leave if their property didn't sell, they'll leave it off the market till usually the springtime. So we'll probably see more inventory fall off as well. So over 300 condos still on the market in the South Okanagan. Benchmark price again, just over 420,000. Not a huge jump from last year. I'm surprised it jumped at all, being a condo. But month over month, again, the last 4 months, we've actually seen prices come down. So we'll probably see that trend, I would imagine, continue as long as inventory stays high and we have a higher number of sales there as well. Days to sell sitting at 87, so close to 3 months to sell a condo right now on average. List to sale ratio, similar to single family homes, are sitting at close to 97%. So buyers and sellers negotiating around 3% off that last list price. And months of inventory and absorption rate are sitting at 10. And that's a pretty common trend across Canada right now, that months of inventory, we're just deep into a buyer's market. There's a ton of inventory. It seems like no matter what city you're in. So if you're in the market for a condo right now, you have more choice than ever. So where does that leave Penticton's market heading into the next few months and into the new year? It's busier than last year, but stability might still be a long way off. If you want to stay ahead of the next shift, hit that subscribe button there. And this next video tells you why people are flooding to Penticton.